Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Investing and boosting the agricultural sector should be up there with priorities that the federal government should focus on. The agricultural sector was amongst the largest employment sectors in 2024, thus highlighting its importance. However, the 826.5 billion naira allocation to agriculture in the 2025 proposed budget has signaled a transformative approach to revitalizing the sector, bolstering food security and generating mass employment. The allocation indicates an over 100% increase from 362.94 billion naira, that's in 2024, and 228.4 billion naira in 2023. Capital allocations also rose by 130% compared to last year. President Bola Tinubu, during his 2025 budget presentation, said a key element to drive the projected positive economic outlook next year will be bumper harvests, driven by enhanced security and a reduction in reliance on food imports. Just this week, the federal government disclosed that it has taken delivery of 255 tractors out of the 2,000 it signed with a private firm about a year ago to be distributed to farmers. Agriculture and Food Security Minister Senator Abubakar Kyari, who made this known while addressing newsmen at the State House, explained that all the efforts were moved by President Bola Tinubu's administration for its renewed hope agenda geared towards reducing food inflation, increasing food production, and reducing foreign currency expenditure. Joining us on the show this morning to discuss how the government can better equip farmers in Nigeria and how the budget allocated to agriculture can be better utilized is African farmer Mogaji, a farmer and food security expert, and Segun Alabi, a farmer and chief executive officer at David Ola Farms. Good morning to you both, and you're most welcome to the morning show.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
All right, so let's start off with the first announcement made this week by the federal government that 255 tractors out of 2,000 will be distributed to farmers in Nigeria. Earlier, they've talked about distributions of fertilizers, all in a bid to support production on our farms to ensure food security in Nigeria and hopefully to reduce imports and put more pockets in the pockets of, or more money in the pockets of Nigerian farmers. To what extent have these interventions affected you? And I'm so glad because you both are players in the industry, you're both farmers. We've spoken to government agencies or government functionaries. It would be great to hear from the horse's mouth, as it were. How has this impacted your businesses? Do you know anyone who's benefited from these innovations or investments by the government? And to what extent has it helped your businesses? I'll start with you from David Ola and then, of course, from Mogaji.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very glad to hear this news of what federal government is doing towards agriculture and then food insecurity to solve this problem. A round of applause for them. Now, you ask a very interesting question that how many people, I don't know whether Mr. Mogaji maybe knows anybody who has gotten that. But as far as I am concerned, I've not seen anything. Okay. We've been in this agricultural sector for years, and I can tell you without missing any word that I've not received anything from government. Because you see, most of the time when we hear this laudable investment in agriculture through federal government or foreign or direct foreign investment, you will discover that before you know what is happening, the problems still remain the same. And what I have found out is if you give a sharpening sword to a wrong person, you don't need a prophet to tell you that that battle will not be won. So we have to do the right thing, give the right thing to the right people. There was a time, I will not mention the name of that particular state, in 2018, they bought plenty tractor. In fact, you say, oh, this government, they are doing fine. But I will tell you for free that within 12 months, this tractor will not where to be found again. Maybe the one they bought is republished or is not original.
What do you mean that they were not found again? They gave to the farmers and they stopped working.
Okay. Now I don't know how they distributed this tractor, but I saw the tractor, plenty tractor in hundreds. Okay. But what I'm telling you that after 1 year, I went back to this particular ministry, the Ministry of Agriculture. And then when I was engaging with some of the directors there, that, we also need tractor in our farm to do one or two things. They said those tractors were not working again. So we have to understand, because we can't be talking about food insecurity without putting the right thing in the right place. Hearing this amount of money, is it going to the right people? Is it going to the grassroots, people who will make use of it? And it is high time for the government to engage people who have relationship with the real farmer, not farmer on the internet.
Okay, all right, Mr. Famamuka, did you share his perspective or a different?
I would like to sit on the fence.
No, you can't sit on.
No, I'll sit on the fence and I'll explain why.
All right.
Well, so there are many, each speaking from an SME, point of view.
Yeah.
Most SMEs will come out and say to you that they've not seen any support from government, okay? Yeah. Which is also valid. On the other side, I operate and I've operated in the north, across the country. So I've seen many farmers at micro and small, the small older farmers, get these fertilizers and input as an eyewitness. I've also seen some SMEs get trailers of fertilizers donated by government. Why I said I will sit on the fence is that many SMEs don't ask. And without an application, there's nothing to process.
What's the process of application?
Just send a letter to the Minister of Agriculture. As simple as what I said. Some people got it by just believing maybe it will be true and tried and received it. The same way they gave SMEs, small older farmers, is the same way they gave them. But because you did not ask, okay, I know a few people who asked and got a trailer load free. As long as you have a farm and they could verify it's for the giving. It was free, but most SMEs don't ask, maybe because of the prior, over the years experience, you apply, nothing comes out. But I can tell you, at least the 2.1 million bags of fertilizers, some of us have some relationship, national, statewide. We even know how the amount some states got, when they got it, and how it was used, however not efficiently, and how some escaped to the borders of Nigeria. So I have good information on that. Just to add to what he said, he didn't know where the tractors went. The tractors ended up in Oyo State. Then, it was some time ago, the tractors ended up in Oyo State, but was meant for another state. And what happened? And this is why government needs to be careful with these new tractors. Because if they don't know what happened, they're going to repeat it. Yeah. So what happened was this governor, generously invested in tractors, bought the tractors. There's no point packaging. Osun State bought tractors, okay, because this can be validated.
When was this?
During Oyinlola's administration. Okay, it's some time ago.
Okay.
Bought the tractors. It was meant to be distributed to local governments. He thought that was done. But the tractors escaped to Oyo State, where people, and I'm speaking on authority now, where people also in government would lease it to farmers, because Oyo had bigger land cleared. They would lease it at 40,000 naira. They get 50,000 naira every Monday. They get paid. Okay? But each brand new tractor cultivates about 8 hectares a day. That's 8 football fields. Then it was 8,000 naira for a football field, meaning every Monday, each tractor owner, the person that got the tractors made 40,000, but was depositing 50,000. To pick the tractors, they will pay some money. So Osun was happy. The governor was getting reports that the tractors were working. It was just that the tractors were working in Oyo, and so for a whole year they will return it. And this is what happens over and over and over. That's why I actually moved from being a farmer to understanding food security. And this is what is going to happen, or likely to happen, when you don't concentrate the tractors in particular locations.
Wow. Very revealing, very revealing. Now, some people might say that because of some of these incidents or that happen, or this culture that they've seen happening around these implements, some might say that maybe our priority shouldn't be on tractors and on fertilizer. I know some people are saying that, okay, why are we not training people on how they can farm in an effective, efficient way? Another argument is, why are we not investing in seed that is more appropriate and will cultivate more, is it more value from our own specific soil? I'll start with you, then you can answer afterwards, Farmer Mogaji. But from a David Ola perspective, what do you think tractors and fertilizer, because this has become the culture, give everybody tractors and fertilizer, are these the real needs of the farmer?
Okay, thank you so much. We can't rule out a provision of tractor and fertilizer to achieve the food sufficiency. It must be there because agriculture has gone beyond the level of cutlass and hoe. So it has to be mechanized. So apart from the tractors and the fertilizer, what are other things? Because it's like you want to eat now, you have food and you don't have water. That food can choke you because there are things that need to complement each other if you really want to achieve a particular goal. Now, training is very, very essential because we can't go on and be doing what we used to do and expect a different result. The way our forefathers are doing farming is different from the way it's also to be done right now because the population is increasing. Now, if you have one hectare and a local farmer is producing, let's say, 2 tons on that 1 hectare, if you have the right knowledge, right understanding, the same 1 hectare can give you maybe 10,000 tons. So training is very, very essential because if you give the farmer a tractor and fertilizer and he don't know how to use it to maximize, to get the right result, we will still go back to the square zero. I don't even want to call it the square one. So training is very, very essential. Government should approach people who have not. Okay, let me use this one as an example. In our pineapple farm, one acre of pineapple farm, you can get 27 tons on it. And then because we've visited some farmers who it's very even difficult for them to even have 1 ton because of the way they plant their pineapple. So what we are trying to do and what we are still doing individually is because we are training them that this is how you should do this. Now imagine that we have people who understand cassava, who understand maize, or other produce, and the government engage these people to train those farmers, then we'll be able to get the result we are looking for. If not, the tractor and the fertilizer will not yield any result.
So there's nothing like that happening at all at the moment?
At the moment, I don't know whether I have that information, but from my experience, we are only doing what we know how to do, but I've not seen any training being done. I don't know.
Well, capacity development is we say agriculture is a value chain. Capacity development, which is training, is one major weak link in why we are not food secure in Nigeria today. A lot of focus is on what we can see, the tangible. What makes what we can see work is the intangible. We are not investing heavily in the education space in agriculture. But last week, the Minister of Agriculture reached out and said, go to the colleges of agriculture and expose me to all the provosts and the research institutes that how can we rejig things? How can they become major producers, especially targeting tomatoes and peppers for the off-season? Okay, so there are some new developments going on, but currently go to all our government universities or polytechnics. They need a lot of, upgrade. Okay, now, government must subsidize something, must. It's either input or output. Currently in Nigeria, we have a producer's problem. Okay, before we used to have a major marketing, but now we have a producer's problem. We're not producing enough. So we need, government is good for them to support with the fertilizers, support with the mechanization, which is tractors, but where should they support? And I like to make this analogy. Now, for every time government puts in 1,000 naira, they are always getting, in some states, they are always getting 500 naira return. Okay? Instead of putting 500 and getting 1,000, what happens? Now, federal government will give, like these tractors now, it's likely to go to states. But when they go to states, the priorities are different. These tractors, as is this first and second batch, ought to go to states that have shown to focus on agriculture, to be investing in agriculture, not let's balance it out. And secondly, is almost all interventions we have seen over the years that federal government implements through states has not worked. Okay? So what needs to happen? Federal can support federal. We have the Ministry of Agriculture. They don't have lands. It's the Ministry of Water Resources, federal ministry that has the lands, the river basins and co. So what government needs to do now is government should fund their federal parastatals, okay? So these tractors should, and these river basins are in every state of the nation. So instead of giving the state government, and most of these people are in the rural community, you're supposed to give it to farmers around the river basin. You can find a river basin maybe in the north with 30,000 acres, 25,000 acres, but surrounding it is another like 100,000, 200,000 acres. So when you give those tractors to them, you will get it operational. And it will complement the river basin and water resources, tractors and co. If they don't do that now, you know, I always talk about May, June. If they don't do that now, a basket of tomatoes in May, June would be 200,000 to 300,000. My predictions have been right in over a decade. My prediction was more than accurate last year. So we need, federal government needs to laser focus their support now to ensure that they get productivity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying this. Now, I'll come to both Mr. Alabi and Farmer Mogaji with regards to, and I like that you've highlighted the way forward. This morning, we talked about, during the newspaper review, we looked at the reports that The Guardian did about farmers that are unable to go to the farm as a result of insecurity. And this has been a big issue when it comes to, you know, security, food security, the reasons why the produce has reduced. In the northern parts especially, both of you might not experience it, but at least I know you might have a network of farmers and you understand the plight of these people. Consistently, even the president has said that they were committed to fighting insecurity and ensuring that farmers are able to go back to the farms. What's the reality on ground? Has security improved? Are farmers now going back to the farms? You know, those are some of the conversations we need to have. Because if you're talking about these tractors, fertilizers, if they cannot even go to the farm, you can buy all these things and it will not make any difference. Maybe I'll start with you from Mogaji and then Mr. Alabi, I'll come to you next.
Yes. I would use the word significantly. Okay, the security challenges has reduced significantly because I operate and I have relationships and we get like fortnight feedback. It has reduced, especially under this administration. Farmers are beginning to go back to the farm. But the main challenge that we're not paying attention to, which is the intangible, is the fear that has gotten into the farmers and the players. There's a lot of fear. They've seen a lot of people die. They've seen a lot of challenges happen. They've made a lot of losses. So the mental state of farmers is what we need to work on, not necessarily the input, because the fear is making farmers not, if any farmer, any smallholder farmer or medium scale or large scale farmer operating, maybe they're all currently operating like 30%, 20%, some 10%. So we need to have boosters, inspirational things. We need to show what government has put in place to ensure that the security, to showcase that the security has reduced. For Maiduguri, I know a lot of farmers going back to farm. Across the country, the insecurity has reduced, they're going back to farm. However, what we are undermining is the effect of the psychological challenge. I have lost a lot of money due to insecurity. My staffs run away because they heard somebody died. We lost money. I ended up in detention. So I've been privileged to be in detention a few times. Privileged. Yeah, it's privileged because there are some things you learn there that we are helping other people now not to go through that. Okay, so bottom line is that we are undermining that challenge of the psyche, what has happened to the farmers. But there's what to do. So we should not just give input now. We need to show a lot of inspiration. We need to show a lot of solidarity, a lot of that, the intangibles.
What do you think the farmers would want to see? I know you're saying awareness. What do they want to see to inspire confidence? Because like you said, confidence has been eroded, trust eroded. So what do they want to see? Because we're still getting reports as of this morning that many of them don't feel safe going back to their farms.
Oh yeah, that's a psychological component. It's psychological.
It's not just psychological. They say they are being bombed as well. And our
yes, so it's real. It has not vanished, okay? But how it used to happen has significantly reduced. Okay. But nobody wants to risk the life when you know somebody. A lot of farmers can say, Mr. X, Alhaji X has died, you know. So bottom line is that needs to happen. You mentioned a little around seed. Seed is intangible. Yeah. Investment, I would even suggest don't give fertilizer. Fund the seed companies. Yeah. Every year in the last 10 years, by June, you will not find any locally produced seed for maize, soya. So if government says, oh, let's be corn secure, let's be tomato secure, there are no corn seeds. That is seed security is food security. Not guns. Seed. Yeah. We're not investing heavily in the seed value chain. When we have seeds, we'll be able to produce. June now, when people, especially investors, when they want to do commercial, which is the grains, June, July for dry season, there are no seeds in the country.
Okay, I just want to, because we're still talking about insecurity. Before I come to Mr. Alabi for his own perspective on the same question, do you currently run farms? Because I hear you say that you've been in detention a number of times. Did it discourage you from... No! So you have farms currently? Yeah,
and we have people who consult for.
What areas do you have your farms?
Southwest. Okay. We moved a lot out of the north. Okay. But
so you're not even confident to go back to the north?
No, right now I'm confident to go back to the north. Okay. I'm more confident to go... Why?
So when will you be going back?
No, very soon, because tomato will be expensive, okay? So it's not enough again to analyze and predict. Yeah. We must do something. Absolutely. So this year, I'm going to be heavy with youths in the rural places, giving inspiration and running farms through them, but being with them, moving around. And which is what the Minister of Agriculture has said, are you willing to move around? And I'm willing to. That's where the inspiration, somebody to tell the story of what has happened.
All right, Mr. Alabi, your perspective on this. Are farmers safe? Are they going back to their farms? Are they confident that they'll be secure in their farms?
Okay, thank you so much. I don't want to use the word I want to sit on the fence, just like he made mention.
I'm going to have to break this fence.
Now, if we say, okay, farmers are going to the farm, what is the percentage of the farmer going to the farm? Now, if you are saying, oh, the security has come to place, there is safety now. Now, if I'm a farmer in the north now, let's say in Maiduguri, and then you are telling me to go back to the farm, I will ask you, what are the provisions on ground for me to go to the farm that I know that my life is secure? So if I couldn't see things that is physical, that is tangible, you can't expect me to go back to them, and that's what is happening. Because it's beyond just saying, oh, there's security now, you guys can go to the farm, your mind needs to... See, people believe in what they see rather than what they don't see. So if we're talking about security, let it be a visual thing that people can see. If I see 10 soldiers or 5 soldiers mounting the farm area, I will be confident to go back to the farm. But because there's nothing that I can see with my physical eyes that can guarantee my safety, my life, then I won't go. And that is what is happening. So government needs to do a whole lot in terms of that security. Now, not just that alone. What about the road to the farm? Because majority of our rural roads are not good at all. We started something yesterday now, because every year where our farm is being located, we make sure that we enlarge the road, we do road rehabilitation. And we are not collecting any money from government. This is what our company is doing. And if government can do, because if you are bringing plantain from the farm, you are bringing yam from the farm, and then before it gets to the city, the road is not that good. Yeah. We are going to have a whole lot of post-harvest waste, and that is what has been happening. In Nigeria, from the research, we lost more than 50% of what we are harvesting every year because of bad road. So the road to the rural area where this farm is being located needs to be worked on, and government needs to do something about that.
All right. Now, two questions. I'll start with you, Mr. Alabi. I remember, I'll never ever forget one of your interviews that you granted, where you said you chose to farm pineapples because cows don't eat pineapples. And of course, I'm sure it was you. Maybe it was you. Maybe it was somebody. I believe you said that. It was you. Because cows don't eat pineapples. Of course, now the Ministry of Livestock has been created. I want to know your thoughts on that, whether you think this is a positive direction with regards to separating agriculture and livestock, whether you also feel that your farms in general will be more safe from the threat that we've seen between farmers and herders over the years. Then to you, Farmer Magaji. So insecurity is one thing, but we know that last year with the collapse of the Alao Dam, almost 700,000 hectares of farmland was destroyed or affected by it due to flooding. Over 250,000 farms were affected by flooding. So yes, maybe insecurity is one factor, but are we ready for climate change, for floods, for all the other incidents? Because the Alao Dam collapse, we can't call it climate change, that's just negligence. Are we ready for all of those events that seem to always throw off our plan for food security every year? So maybe I'll start with you, Farmer Mogaji.
Well, sincerely, I don't think we're well prepared for the realities of climate change. And I'll say that because, in Nigeria, we focus too much on the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, forgetting that Ministry of Environment. There are many ministries that must interface with the Ministry of Agriculture to deliver results. So, I have been a river basin farmer. This September will be 3 decades that I've been operating across the country. And I will say to you that more needs to be done. In terms of even accessing the dams to utilize. Okay, Oyo State dams and reservoir, Oyo State has about 20 or 22. But I can tell you, none is fully utilized. And that's what you have across the country. So, bottom line is we're not prepared for climate change. However, we also don't pay attention to the solutions currently available. 2020, when the rain stopped, we still produced corn for 6 weeks. We still harvested good yield 6 weeks after the rain stopped. But there are so many solutions on the country now that is not being adopted. It is going to be a little more expensive to produce, but the productivity and the yield will pay for that. So we need to embrace climate-smart farming. We're not currently doing that. Everything is still commercial.
And very quickly, any of those farmers, are you aware if they've been able to get back to their farms? Have they been able to recultivate their land? Or are we still working on recovering that land and getting it?
Well, I know some of them have started going back. The governor did some intensive interventions, in Borno. There's a lot of attention, and I even... there's something also happening next week. But what I know is that when you consider what needs to be done, there's still a lot to be done beyond government. Government needs to shout out to say we need help. Until that, because that dam destroyed a lot. And the effect of that dam, we're going to see it this year because production also takes place in those places. So bottom line is that we need government to say we need help beyond just we can do it. They can do it, but it will be slower. They'll get there, but we need more private sector donor, help to get it done.
All right.
farmers?
Thank you. Let me say this. In 2017, I want to talk about the cattle now. In 2017, we had issue with the cattle rearer. In fact, that was what made us to left Okeogun, Erua to be precise. We had more than 40 hectares of cassava maize. Could you believe that cow entered those farms and destroyed everything? We went to the police station and they said there's nothing they can because we did not arrest any cow. Now, the approach that federal government is taking in terms of separating the cattle rearer and the farmers is a good approach. And I think it's going to provide a good result, because one of the issues that farmers are going through in Nigeria is also causing this food insecurity. It's as a result of elders destroying destroying people's farm. I was watching a particular clip that somebody just posted online, I think 2 weeks ago, that the government, he was calling on government to come and help him because the cattle entered this man's farm and destroyed everything. So I think it's high time to go separate. We travel a lot, and I believe that our government officials, they travel a lot. They see what is happening outside Nigeria. I was in Italy last year, October, and I was in Netherlands. If you withdraw from Germany, Dortmund to Netherlands, left, right, you will see farm. You will see a particular place where cattle, where they are being stationed. You won't see them crossing the road or entering another person's farm. With all of these things, we can achieve it. The problem we are going through in Nigeria is not a problem that does not have solution. But are there right people that can provide that solution? Are they following we are talking about it today now, after this discussion, because it's more than just discussing about solution. It's about implementing that solution. I love what he's doing, and the feedback he's giving us. I really love that. But more can still be done. If you have 1 million of us in Nigeria, this problem is off, and we have them. But is government reaching out to all of those people to put head together and to provide this solution? Because I believe that when you provide a solution, there should be feedback. What have you done? How did you get to this? It was saying something the other time that if I give you 50,000 naira now, I expect you to give me maybe 60,000 naira back. But what the government, what they do, if they give you 1,000, maybe 500 will come back, just like he explained. And there must be multiplication. I study finance, so I believe in multiplier effect. If government is giving 1 billion naira to farmers now, after, depending on the kind of produce you are producing, if it is maize, if it is watermelon, if it is cassava, if it is orange or what have you. Now, after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, what is the multiplier effect? But if right things are not in the right place, even this money will not come back. And that is the situation, and it needs solution right now.
Mr. Segun Alabi, Farmer Mokaji, this has been a fantastically insightful conversation. We hope the powers that be are paying attention, because we want to see bumper harvest this year. Whatever come may, we have been promised, and we need it delivered.
Let me add this to it. Last year, I went to some states in the east and in the west.
Sorry, just very briefly.
And then tried to talk to the directors in that ministry. And I made up a blueprint that can really solve some of those problems. And if they are interested, I can be contacted.
Sell your market.
I'm wishing you a food-full year.
A food-full year.
Food-full year.
Change it to happy
food-full year.
Yeah, I think that's what most Nigerians are praying for. Thank you so much again, gentlemen.